Lily Rose Depp begs her father, Johnny Depp, not to live alone, a daughter's heartfelt plea that could change everything. Sunlight was melting through the French windows of Johnny Depp's villa in the south of France, a home drenched in silence, memory, and the lingering scent of tobacco and turpentine. The actor, now living in near isolation, was sitting by a half-finished painting when the door creaked open. A familiar voice called softly, "Papa." It was Lily Rose. What happened next, sources close to the family say, was one of the most emotional moments between father and daughter, a quiet, powerful exchange that revealed both love and pain. For years, Johnny Depp had chosen solitude over society. He found comfort in the quiet corners of his mind, away from the noise of Hollywood and the shadows of his past. But his daughter, now a rising star in her own right, saw something else, a loneliness too deep to ignore. She begged him, said a family friend. She told him, "Please, Dad, don't live alone anymore. You've given too much of yourself to silence." It wasn't a demand. It was love, raw and honest. A house filled with silence, Johnny Depp's house in Plan de Lauder. Tucked among vineyards and olive trees is more than a home. It's a world within itself. Once filled with laughter, music, and the rhythm of artistic chaos, it has now become a sanctuary of solitude. He spends his days painting on wide canvases, strumming his guitars, and wandering through the halls lined with relics from his storied life, movie props, old photographs and letters from another time. Friends say the home feels like a museum of memories. You can almost hear his laughter echoing from the past, one visitor described. But now it's mostly quiet. It was into this silence that Lily Rose stepped, carrying both concern and hope. A daughter's arrival. Rose Depp had always been a mirror of her father's spirit. Sensitive, artistic, fiercely private. But as she walked through the corridors of her father's retreat, she felt something heavy. She told a friend that it broke her heart, says an insider. She saw how he had surrounded himself with art, but not with people. Johnny greeted her with his usual warmth, a tight hug, a soft smile, yet behind his eyes, she saw exhaustion. The years had been long and unkind. The court battles, the heartbreak, the once vibrant man who had danced through life with mischief and poetry. "You look tired." "Papa," she whispered as they sat in the garden later that evening. He smiled faintly. "I'm just quiet these days, darling." Quiet isn't always bad. But Lily Rose saw what he didn't say. The quiet had become a wall. "You don't have to do this alone." That night, after dinner, they sat beneath the stars, a father and daughter who had both seen too much of fame's illusion. The air was warm, filled with the scent of lavender and the sound of crickets. Lily Rose took his hand. "Dad," she began gently, "you don't have to do this alone anymore. You don't have to keep shutting the world out." Johnny stared into the darkness for a long time. "Sometimes the world feels like too much, sweetheart," he said softly. "Out here, I can breathe. No noise. No eyes watching me." "But you're not breathing," she replied. "You're hiding," according to those close to the family. That line struck him deeply. She told him that she's proud of his peace, but she misses his presence, says one friend. She told him that he deserves love and connection, not isolation. It was an emotional moment, one where the daughter became the caretaker, the voice of reason to a man who once seemed larger than life. Echoes of the past. Johnny Depp has often said that becoming a father saved his life. When Lily Rose was born in 1999, he described holding her for the first time as a moment that stopped time. He once told an interviewer, "Everything I thought I knew about love was wrong until I held my child." Over the years, despite the turbulence of fame, their bond never truly broke. But distance, both physical and emotional, crept in. Lily Rose grew into her own spotlight, balancing modeling and acting. While Johnny withdrew further from Hollywood, they always loved each other deeply, says a longtime associate. But Johnny's silence worried her. She knew he wasn't just enjoying solitude, he was protecting himself from hurt. Healing a wounded soul in the wake of his public trials and heartbreak, Johnny turned to art and music as a refuge. He began painting portraits of people who shaped his life: Marlon Brando, Keith Richards, and even his children. His art studio became a sacred place, filled with canvases splattered in bold colors. Yet, for all the vibrancy in his paintings, there was still an emptiness around him. Lily saw that his art was speaking louder than his voice, a close friend shared. She told him, "Your paintings are beautiful, Dad, but they're lonely." That line, according to sources, hit Johnny hard. It was as if his daughter had painted him with her words, a man of colors living in shades of gray. A father's realization the next morning. Johnny was seen walking through the vineyard with his daughter. The air was soft and golden. They didn't speak much. They didn't have to. For Johnny, the realization was beginning to set in that the walls he built to protect himself had also kept love at bay. He told her, "I never wanted you to worry about me. I thought being alone was my peace as a family insider." And she told him, peace doesn't mean being alone. It means being loved and still being calm. That conversation became the turning point, the promise before she left France. Lily Rose made her father promise something simple, that he would let people in again. She told him, "Promise me you'll start living again, not just existing," the insider recalled. And he said, "For you, I will." Johnny's team has since hinted that the actor has been re-engaging with projects, from music collaborations with old friends to possible film discussions. But more importantly, he has begun to open his heart again. He's laughing more, calling people he hasn't spoken to in years, said one of his bandmates from the Hollywood Vampires. And it all started with that visit from Lily Rose. The ripple effect friends of the actor have noticed subtle but meaningful changes. The lights in his home, once dim and rarely lit, now glow late into the evening. The music plays louder. He's been spotted painting with others instead of alone. It's as if her words broke a spell, one friend described. Johnny realized that his silence had become a kind of exile, and he didn't even notice it happening. Meanwhile, has spoken softly in recent interviews about her relationship with her father, never revealing too much, but enough to show affection. "My dad is my best friend," she once said. "He's taught me to see beauty in broken things." Perhaps now she's teaching him the same lesson. Hollywood's poet returns for Johnny Depp. Life has always been more art than routine. He lives through rhythm and emotion, through music and words. Yet, those close to him say this moment, this plea from his daughter, may be one of the most pivotal in his story. He's been through storms most people wouldn't survive, says a longtime collaborator. But his daughter's love has reminded him that the sun can still rise. He's slowly coming back to life, not as the movie star, but as the man who still believes in love. Indeed, whispers from the actor's circle suggest he may return to the screen, but on his own terms. He's open to something meaningful, a producer shared. He's not chasing fame anymore. He's chasing truth, a moment of renewal, in the weeks after Lily Rose's visit. Neighbors near Johnny's French estate say they noticed something different. "We used to see him walking alone with his dogs. Always quiet," one local said. "Now, sometimes he walks with company. He smiles more. Even his art seems lighter, splashes of yellow and sky blue replacing the darker tones of recent years," a close friend explained. That's Lily's effect. She reminded him that he's still loved, still needed. The essence of family for all his fame and controversy. Johnny Depp's story has always been one of deep humanity. Beneath the pirate hats and Hollywood myths lies a man who craves connection. Meaning and love, the same things that make all of us human, and Lily Rose, wise beyond her years, has become the gentle force guiding him toward that realization. "She's not trying to change him," said the insider. "She just wants him to see that solitude doesn't have to mean loneliness, that his heart still has room for the world." An ending that feels like a beginning before leaving her father's home that week. Lily Rose walked through his art studio one last time. She looked at a painting of a sunset over a quiet sea, the brushstrokes raw, emotional, unfinished. "You should finish this one," she told him. "Maybe I will," he replied with a small smile. "Maybe now I can." It's that small exchange, according to those close to the family, felt symbolic. A man ready to finish the painting of his own life. A daughter's voice. A father's heart when asked what changed Johnny's mood in recent months. A friend answered simply, "Lily, it wasn't fame, fortune, or redemption from Hollywood that revived him. It was love. The kind of love that only a daughter's heart can offer, honest, unfiltered, and endlessly forgiving. She begged him not to be alone, the friend repeated. And that might have been the most beautiful thing anyone's ever done for him. As the sun sets over his French villa, Johnny Depp can often be found sitting outside, guitar in hand, painting by his side. But now, there's a new light in his eyes, one that wasn't there before. He still treasures his solitude, but it no longer feels empty. Because somewhere across the ocean, his daughter's voice still echoes in his